Imagine a flood sweeping through the streets of London. But this isn't a flood of water. It's a tidal wave of beer. Sounds like a fantasy, right? Well, for the people of St. Giles Parish in 1814, it was a terrifying and very real disaster. This is the story of the Great London Beer Flood, a bizarre and tragic event that turned a bustling neighbourhood into a brewery's worst nightmare. On October 17, 1814, at the Moo and Company Brewery on Tottenham Court Road, something went horribly wrong. A massive fermentation vat, towering over 20 feet high and holding thousands of barrels of dark porter ale, suddenly ruptured. The force of the initial explosion was so immense it knocked down the brewery's back wall and triggered a catastrophic chain reaction. Other vats in the building burst open, unleashing a torrent of over 323,000 imperial gallons of beer. That's enough to fill an entire Olympic-sized swimming pool. A 15-foot-high wave of dark, frothy liquid crashed through the surrounding area. The St. Giles Rookery, a densely packed slum right next to the brewery, bore the brunt of the deluge. The wave of beer smashed into flimsy tenement buildings, flooding cellars where entire families lived. The sheer force of the liquid was devastating. Buildings crumbled, and people were swept away by the powerful current of alcohol. Tragically, 8 people lost their lives, mostly women and children. One was a young girl having tea with her mother when the wave hit. Another was awake being held for a 2-year-old boy in a cellar, which was completely inundated by the flood. In the aftermath, the scene was chaotic. Some initial reports, which have since become part of the legend, claimed people rushed out with buckets and pans to scoop up the free beer, leading to alcohol poisoning. While this is likely an exaggeration, the smell of beer hung heavy in the air for days. The brewery was taken to court, but the disaster was ruled an act of God, meaning no one was held legally responsible. The company, however, was nearly bankrupted by the loss of the beer. Fortunately, they were eventually able to get a refund on the taxes they had already paid on it, which saved them from financial ruin. The London beer flood remains one of history's most unusual and forgotten disasters. It's a sobering reminder that even something as seemingly harmless as beer can have devastating consequences. The Moo Brewery is long gone, replaced today by the Dominion Theatre, but the story of that fateful day lives on. Thanks for watching. If you found this story as fascinating as I did, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more dives into strange history. See you next time.